Hello? How's everyone going? Hi D, who's 30 seconds behind. Hi Nautilus. Butter, Keys, Simp, hello, hello. I realized I want to have a like chatting screen for before stream starts, but I realized it's like 2 seconds before I started stream, so we're gonna build one right now. As I say hi to everyone. Bookshelves are expensive, and yes, I'm afraid we are at the very end of the first game. We're playing the DLC at the end of the first game, so things might not make the most sense. But that's okay. Hopefully you'll still have fun, and if you're not having fun, then you are welcome to head off. Where is my little avatar? There we go. Oh my gosh, she's big. Put her over here for now. Used to jumping into games? Pog. Let me get my add existing alerts. There we go. All of the alerts are on this page. Let me put chat on this page. Is that a browser source? Yes. Oh, tiny. Let's make that way bigger. 30 seconds late? Yeah, that seems right. New starting screen. Yeah, I always want to chat for a little bit before I dive into gameplay, but I didn't have a screen set up for it. I feel like I'm missing something. Hang on. Let's go to the loading screen, see what I have here. Oh, I don't have sound on here for you guys yet. Add audio, add existing, Spotify. There we go. Okay, hopefully now there's music playing. Where can you play Satani? I'm playing it on Switch. It initially came out on Game Boy Advance. You can get it on PC, yeah, on Steam. You can even play it on mobile, I believe. But yeah, it got remastered pretty recently, so it looks really good for a game that came out in 2001. Hi D, you're doing so poggers. Do I have the head pats? I do not. Let me add. Where is that? A browser source? Add existing head pats. There we go. It's ridiculous how well it holds up. I mean, honestly, right? Sorry, I just need to get my placement right, which means, where is it? Oh, too big. Let's do this. The RAM! Yes, Nautilus. This one. There we go. Thank you. Adorable. Delightful. The ramification of the 3D. We need more weird little girls and father figures. Alright, let me grab my Switch. Wi-Fi glitching in and out? No. Bye, Nautilus. Okay. I don't even properly... Hi, Brady! I don't recall where we left off properly. It's been a whole week and I'm not used to taking that long between Ace Attorney streams. We were up to the second day of investigation, so we'd met Gant. What else have we done? Josh! How you doing? The little emojis for the redeems, do you like them? They were fun to put together. Yes, Gant put everything on Edgeworth. Oh my god, Josh and Timmy? Ah, everybody here. I'm glad you like them. Okay. Gant, Edgeworth, we're going to investigations. Emma is there. She's adorable. We love her. Tim is here to bully you? Well, someone has to. Okay. I don't think I'm going to remember anymore by just sitting here, so let's dive in. At no point do I want to, please. And that means turn off Spotify. There we go. And I'm really sorry if you guys hear banging in the background this stream. There's a fly in my room and the dog is... Please stop scratching the mirror. The dog is very much trying to get... Pat! Thank you, Keith. Farewell. What? On your baby, no. Sweetheart, I'm trying to stream. Now is not the time to be chasing flies. I know, it's doing a crime by being there on the wall, just existing. But this really is... Hang on. Sorry. Banishes him. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. Unprofessional of me. Anyway, Ace Attorney. Let's play video game. I am excited to be getting back into it. As always, let me know if audio is okay, but nothing has changed, so it should be fine. Oh my god, and since we're doing investigations, we're out of court, we can have my little buddy with me. February 23rd, 2:15 p.m, Red & Co law offices. Mr. Wright, so... what's going on with the case, anyway? I'm a little confused. Huh? Well, let's see. What is going on? Alex, you're inside for Sholmes! Hell yeah! Oh good, Phoenix is just gonna recap the whole thing for us. This is poggers. The victim, Detective Bruce Goodman, was stabbed to death after 5 p.m. on the 21st. He died in the prosecutor's parking lot and the police department's evidence room. What's this and the evidence room part? The prosecutor's office and the police department are 30 minutes apart by car. Well, that's what we're going to find out. Or try to, at least. Alright, let's do it! She's in good spirits, but I'm not sure she's going to be much help with this. Don't be so sure, Mr. Wright. Huh? Look, we're in this together, right? I'll prove that these thick-rimmed glasses of mine aren't just for show. Let's go! Science awaits us! February 23rd, Prosecutor's Office, underground parking lot. You know, I really don't think we should worry about the police department murder. There wasn't even a body found there. Who cares? Yeah, it was only our victim who was killed in their evidence room. No biggie. Besides, my sister would never do such a thing. I know it. That oil drum. Was it empty? The oil drum picked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with the water. Angel Star. Women. My sister erasing evidence at the crime scene? Never! Even though she says they don't get along, Emma really likes her sister. Not at all. It's just... we're both professionals at what we do, and I trust her. Hot women, hot women! Big words for a high school student. Well, whether there was blood on the floor or not, the water in that oil drum washed it all away. Ignore the strength of my science at your own peril, Mr. Wright. Huh? What's that grin for? This situation calls for one thing, and that is luminol testing fluid. Luminol? Blood is sticky stuff, you know. You can't just wash it away with a little water. Even if you can't see it, it's still there. Looks away from one specific character. Trust women. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But wouldn't the police have already done those tests? Never trust anyone's eyes but your own, Mr. Wright. Just give it a try. Me? Why do I have to do it? I'm a minor. I can't even drink yet. I'm testing bloodstains with this stuff, not drinking it. Here, look, I'll lend you these glasses. Huh? You had an extra pair of those things? Oh my god, Emma Sholmes, they are so alike. I think they would get along really well. Or Emma Vision. To test for a blood reaction, just spray the luminol on it. Like this, see? Press the A button to spray it on. We're in a video game. Okay, let's find us some bloodstains. Is there anything behind Sholmes? This is how Daredevil sees. Oh, the only thing behind Sholmes is the thing that tells me how to see. Spray. Anything behind me? A bit of blood, okay. Let's spray more here for a second. There we go. I can see her eyes shining behind those glasses. So, is this a bloodstain? It's so... Ugh! Emma, you're shaking. Well, this is my first time seeing real blood. Scientific investigation in action. Okay, well, we definitely know that this is a bloodstain. But doesn't something strike you as odd? Scientifically speaking, of course. What's odd about this, scientifically? Oh, I've forgotten all of the details of this case. You would think that that would be... I'm not in court. It doesn't matter what I pick. I can't be penalized here. The perpetrator and Detective Goodman fought here, right? And don't you think there'd be a little more blood? I definitely think so. I mean, look at all the blood on the sole of the victim's shoe. It is pretty strange. If they fought here, there'd have to have been more blood than this. Hey, Mr. Wright. I'm gonna mark up the floor plans when we find a bloodstain, okay? Thank you, Emma. See? I'm pretty handy to have around, right? Yeah. And this stuff's pretty handy too. I saved up my allowance to buy that. Luminol testing fluid received from one very proud-looking Emma Sky. Solution used for scientific investigation. Finds blood traces. Spray to use. Stream is finally working. Plug. We can't be sure that the police will reveal all their evidence in court. Sometimes they fail to mention evidence that doesn't fit with their view of the case. Then let's drag that hidden evidence out into the light of day. Yeah! It feels like we're really investigating a crime now, doesn't it? I guess I should give this a spray on anything suspicious. Is this our cowboy friend? Huh. It's Angel! Hug. I wonder how that fluid of yours would react to a nice deli box. Miss Star! You only trust your own eyes, Not bad, you two. She's so pretty! The women in Ace Attorney are like... I'm in love with all of them. This day old deli box is on the house. I'm sorry, it's just that kind of lead doesn't really get my mouth watering. Women. You certainly put me in a tight spot today. My apologies, Miss Star, but... No, it's okay. It was my fault. Oh, we know. I witnessed everything from that security room right there. But I was afraid that wouldn't sound convincing enough, you see. I was wrong to think that. I'm sorry. Sorry? You lied on the witness stand. That's unforgivable. Little girl, don't forget what's important here. Even if the place I witnessed the events from was different, I still saw what I saw. I saw Chief Prosecutor Sky stab a man in cold blood, and that testimony still stands. I swear it on my honor as a detective. She stabbed Goodman. I know this photograph has something important to tell us, but what? Actually, let's have a look at the court record. Okay, Goodman's ID, Edgeworth's trophy, Edgeworth's knife that was used as the murder weapon, the parking stop that shows where Miles parked, Boy Badger, Goodman's autopsy report, so loss of blood from a chest wound, singular stab, between 4 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. SO9, the word muffler, which we've solved. Floor plans of the parking lot that we're in. The photo that Angel took. Victim's shoe. The switchblade knife, which is a different contender for murder weapon, I believe. And the aluminum. Cool, 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 cool. Alright. Let's continue talking to Angel. So, you were a detective, weren't you, mister? Yes, it was a long time ago. Well, 2 years ago. No matter how hardened the criminal, when they faced me, they coughed it up. Coughed it up? They confessed. They babbled like babies. You know, I may seem like a demon sometimes, but I can be an angel too. I can be your devil or your angel. I wouldn't doubt it. Every day, I drag the dirt out of the mouths of suspect after suspect. And before long, they called me the cough-up queen. Oh, and here I thought someone had gotten food poisoning from one of your lunches. And you were let go. Fine. I thought that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if these prim and proper prosecutors hadn't let me go, I'd still be one today. It's all because of that case. The SO9 incident. SO9? Wait, she doesn't mean... Okay. If we present her with SO9 evidence, will she tell us more? What do you think about this? The SO9 incident. It's written on that knife. And on that note. Goodman. Goodman was the head detective on that case, you know. Really? That knife was evidence from that case. A murder weapon. It was due for transferal the very day that Goodman was killed. As I suspected, SO9 isn't over. Not yet. Do you think you could tell us more about the SO9 incident? No? Do I have to present the ID? I had one of those up until 2 years ago. Heck, when you were the pop-up queen, right? We found this ID card here in this parking lot. Well, there's no mistaking that. It's definitely Goodman's. Welcome back, Sim! But it's the same ID as the man who was killed at the police department. That's impossible. I wish I could be so sure. Okay, what else can we present her? The photo? If you think about it, I could have taken that picture from the guard room. But even I get flustered sometimes. That blue Sonic. Oh, that's the blue badger. Hang on. This is the mascot of the police, newly designed. It sings a horrible little song. So you went straight to the scene of the crime? Sorry, for a second I thought you you had Phoenix, the blue Sonic looking thing. Like, I feel like the Phoenix was on screen just then. I rushed towards the chain link fence in an effort to stop the murder. That's when I took this photo, yes. In other words, 5 minutes after the crime. Wait, sorry, that's wrong. In other words, 5 minutes after the crime. Those 5 minutes are the whole problem. The hole in my testimony, as it were. The 5 minutes weren't the problem, Miss Star. You lying was the problem. Listen, little girl. I have had my testimony disregarded before. And I wasn't going to have it disregarded again. Just like that time. That time? Oops, not the badger. Can we present the knife? What do you think about this? We've had this dialogue. Yeah, okay. Skip through this. Okay, a new talk option? Yeah, there we go. That incident really opened up my eyes to the truth. We're nothing to them. Disposable. Disposable? To who? 2 years ago. It was the biggest case I'd ever handled. The police and the prosecutors were desperate for decisive evidence. So, they didn't solve it? On the contrary, it was solved quite cleanly. The criminal was caught and executed. Executed? Yes, the criminal got what was coming to him. It doesn't get any cleaner than that. The only problem was they never did find decisive evidence. Not a shred. What? But the criminal was executed, right? On the basis of evidence of a sort. Made up evidence. What? You mean they executed someone with fabricated evidence? The best part came several months after the trial. Every detective involved with the case was dealt with. Some were demoted to patrolman, others found themselves out of a job. And you were one of those? Myself and one other person you know well. Wait, could it be? Exactly. Detective Jake Marshall. Oops, I mean, Police Department Security Detail Officer Jake Marshall. As professional detectives, we investigated that case from every angle. Jake was particularly determined. And then it was over, and he was demoted. However, he hasn't forgotten, and neither have I. And haven't forgotten us all night. There was another side to that case, a hidden side. That's what we're after now. And no one up in their fancy offices can stop us. Wait, those lunches you sell. There's only one reason I come to sell lunches in this accursed office. I come here to meet old friends, boyfriends that can help me investigate. And Star's old boyfriends. How many does she have, anyway? Just when all the detectives on SL9 have disappeared, we find new evidence. There has to be a connection. So, Rookie. What? It seems like you're serious about investigating this case. Yes. Then you should take this. A Salisbury steak lunch? I know a certain guy who might help you if you tempt him with this treat. Steak lunch receipt from Miss Star. Excellent for putting Officer Marshall in a good mood. Miss Star. Officer Marshall, is he, are you his... Are you going out? Why do you want to know? I was just wondering what happened to him. A long time ago when he was helping my sister do cases. He was so nice. He got along so well with my sister, it made me jealous. And he was nice to me too back then. And this would be when Officer Marshall was a detective. But now he's so cold. Jake and I are merely cooperating on this investigation. We're putting the past to rest, as it were. Nothing more than that. I see. Thank you. Officer Jake Marshall. Okay, that's probably what we're getting out of Angel. Is there more we need to examine here, or can we move on? Let's see. Let's spray it. I think since we sprayed the luminol, we should be good to move. Can we visit Miles? Not Miles, oh my gosh, why would Miles be here? I'm still on case 104. Let's visit Lana, rather. February 23rd, Detention Center, Visitor's Room. Looks like Miss Sky is in questioning. I hope the detectives aren't yelling at her. How did you kill him in 2 places at the same time? Can you imagine? How's she supposed to answer that? Wait a second. Didn't Mr. Gant say they'd arrested a suspect in the police department murder? Come back later. Okay. Maybe we can get some info on that from here. February 23rd, police station, criminal affairs department. Wow, everyone looks deadly serious here. Well, there was a vicious murder of a detective down at the police department. Yes, but the same detective was also killed at the same time in the prosecutor's lot. It makes my head hurt. Well, first things first. Let's go check out the police department crime scene. Yes, you sound dead set on investigating. But don't mess up, or we could wind up dead. I doubt anyone wants more mysteries or dead bodies around here right now. But it doesn't look like anyone's going to help us much either. Can we head straight into the... No, we cannot. Okay. No, wait, the evidence room is elsewhere, isn't it? So if we leave and then... February 23, police department entrance. It's even busier here today than it was yesterday. The detectives are running around so fast they're blurring. I suppose it makes sense. The detective did get killed here after all. So, the evidence room, the scene of the crime. According to the pamphlet we got at the front desk, here it is. She's like a kid in an amusement park. Oh, a real crime scene. Let's go take a look. No, not moving. Wait, no, it'll be the guard station, won't it? Yeehaw, baby! I wanna be a cowboy. I hope we get his theme. Please play his theme. February 23rd. Evidence room entrance, guard station. What's with the decor in this place? It's very eccentric. According to the pamphlet, this is the guard station for the evidence room. His office! Did you make it up to here yet, Josh? I'm obsessed. Jake Marshall, funniest guy. Beloved. So, beyond that door is the evidence room, the scene of the crime. It sure seems that way. Oh. Oh. What's wrong? It's those cacti. They're so prickly, so imposing, it's hard to think straight. If you can't handle the cacti, stay out of the desert. All of this is new to you? Pog. Fresh content for Josh. What I want to know is, if there is a guard station, where is the guard? I have a feeling I know who he is already. Fakani, hi! How you doing? Man, I really want Jake to show up. I want to listen to his music so bad. That's a security guard uniform hanging here. It looks more like a costume than a uniform, honestly. A leather jacket, leather pants, a leather... What was that called again? A punchy? A paunchy? A pinchy? I know, a poochie! Wait. Maybe that wasn't it. Good, just woke up a while ago? Good morning! Where's the Yeehaw detective? Bring him to me. It's a poncho, but I think I'll keep that information to myself for the time being. Phoenix, right? Are you bullying a 15-year-old? 16-year-old? Yipes, these sure are prickly. They must be the real deal. I would think just one big one would be sufficient. These cacti are a lot like my sister, actually. How so? Sisters are like cacti. They have prickles. Encased in a cold, rigid shell with spines pointing in every direction. Just like her. I'm not so sure I see the resemblance. It's more an attitude thing than a physical similarity. And it looks like there's a video feed from the evidence room here. There's a light blinking below the monitor. It says recording. I bet we could use this computer to check on who went in and out of here. Okay, can we? Physically, please? Look on the floor, a lasso! Looks like it's set up to trap something. A trap here? Wait, I know. Maybe someone was trying to catch a wild bull in here. Curse of bad Wi-Fi? No. Hello world. But the lasso missed. You sure have an active imagination. The evidence room is beyond that door. Let's just walk in. It won't open. You thought it'd be open? I think we'd need someone's permission to go in there first. Okay, how do I get permission? Where is Jake Marshall? Bring him to me. Okay, maybe we go somewhere else. Pray for Marshall to come back. Ooh, okay, February 23, Police Department entrance. And this place is charged with frantic energy, as always. Gumshoe? Please. Huh? Wasn't that? One steak lunch, please. Oh, it's you. Detective Gumshoe. Now it's no time for chit-chat, pal. I'm a busy man. What I really need is a steak lunch from Lunchland. Oh, you mean one of these? Well, actually, it's not for sale. Aww, you're just a little puppy dog of a man. I think I just heard the sound of his heart breaking. Now's no time for despair. Caught our criminal. Now we just need evidence. Give him the lunch. Hang on, do I still have? Hang on, let me try something. I'm not sure if I still have them around. It'll be in here. Yeah. Where'd it go? Can I rotate this? Transform. Oh god, not carefully. It just has to be as it is, I see. Good enough. We've caught our criminal, then we just need evidence. The criminal? You mean... You heard about the stabbing at the police department evidence room, right? On the same day that a detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot, another detective was killed at the police department? And the perpetrator? Do you have a suspect? Wow, that was a suspect? Just arrested him, in fact. The biggest scandal to hit the station in ages. Everything's topsy-turvy. But Detective Gumshoe, who was it? Listen, pal, all I know is I need me a steak lunch pronto. Standing around here talking isn't gonna fill my belly. He's a good boy. Well, wait, don't leave! If you want to know more, head on down to the detention center, pal. Questioning should be over, so I figure he's down there having a good cry. Later. He ran up to the evidence room. Well, this investigation is off to a running start. Okay, let's go to criminal affairs. Sorry, not criminal affairs, let's go to the detention center. February 23rd, detention center, visitor's room. Still, I do feel better about things. A little. I mean, they caught the person who stabbed Detective Goodman, didn't they? Yeah, I guess they did. Best to not go too far down that road right now. Things will just get confusing. Oh no! Oh, it's him? Oh no! 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 What was that? Sir, that's what I'm saying! Me? The perpetrator? I'd say I was the perpetrator again, sir! Well, that's what I'd say! Me? I would recognize that horn anywhere! No! Oh, hi! Greetings, sir! Wait, I know who you are. Excuse me, but is Mr. Edgeworth anywhere on the premises? I'm here, sir, at the request of the chief, sir. We got your report, sir. Officer Meekins, so you're a guard here at the detention center? No, sir, a lost little patrolman, like a lost little lamb, sir. Get it? You're here to deliver a report? I'm sorry. Well, how should I say this? Wait, he isn't. Is he? You... Officer Meekins. You didn't. Did you? Perpetrator Officer Meekins reporting, sir. Oh no. I completely forgot about this. What? How could anyone? What? How could he? He's just a little guy. Your Honor, please look at him. He's just a little guy. He can't possibly have done this. He's just baby. What? No, this is an unexpected turn of events. Sir, I'm a patrolman with General Affairs, sir. Sir? Oh, I can hear you fine, Officer Meekins. I had some business that day, sir, so I went to the evidence room, sir. A guard stationed in front of the room was empty, sir. Your Honor, I request that you consider the evidence of his baby. His baby. He's just a little guy, Your Honor. So, normally there's a guard at the evidence room. That's right, sir. Because evidence is kept in the evidence room, sir. But now the security officer was none other than Officer Marshall. Marshall? But then, sir, I happened to glance at the security room monitors. That's when I saw him, sir. A suspicious person in the evidence room. A suspicious person, sir. A suspicious person! What the heck is this guy doing? So what happened then? Well, after that, sir, I saw red, I blacked out. And when I came through, I was here, in the detention center. How long were you out? Days? Might I ask, what happened to your hand? Well, sir, there was no one to bandage me, sir. So I did what I could to wrap it up, sir. A bandage on his hand. Just like Miss Sky. Yet another similarity between this case and the one at the prosecutor's office. First things first, tell us how you hurt your hand. Well, I don't mean to pry, but you are the perpetrator, correct? You killed Detective Bruce Goodman in the evidence room, right? Sir! Don't look at me with those sad puppy dog eyes, sir! If you have to label me as perpetrator or victim, sir, then label me victim! I would, but you happen to be in detention, and alive and well at that. Well, yes, well, that's true, sir. I suppose you could say that. Did you know the victim, Detective Goodman? Well, sir, if I had to label him a stranger or a total stranger, well, then I'd say he leans heavily on the total stranger side. So you didn't know him? Sir, I work at a tiny department devoid of light or other creature comforts. Only detectives. So, if he was a total stranger, why did you stab him? Sir! I had no intention of killing him, sir, none! Nor do I have any recollection of killing him, sir! Well, there's someone around here is more confused than I am. About your hand. Did that happen during the course of the crime? Well, you see, sir, don't you think you should just confess? But stop! There was nothing I could do! Nothing you could do? So, to tell the truth, sir, when it happened, when the detective pointed that knife at me, I just hollered, sir. But the next thing I knew, I was unconscious. The next thing you knew, you were... Huh? Well then, when he opened my eyes... Alone in the evidence room, sir. All alone. Alone because Detective Goodman had disappeared. What? Well then when I looked down, it was gushing blood from my hand, sir. Oh, the shock. Sir, can you imagine how I felt? The victim's body disappeared? That's some story. Jesus Christ. This guy's got no clue. I really like Meekins. What can I present to him? Now, Goodman? Sergeant. 5% for weapon? Officer Meekins, this is for you. He's so dumb, I now see the appeal. He's so dumb and baby. He's just a tiny little guy. I'm scared of knives, sir. It's okay. I just wanted you to take a look at it. That's it, sir. Last night, sir. That's the one. It was an apple, sir, in my dream, sir. But it was being peeled. On second thought, you don't have to look at the knife. He's overreacting to the knife, but I guess he's been through a lot. Oh, so you'll allow room for Meekins to overreact, but not Miles? Maybe we can get him to talk about Goodman with the ID? Do you think you could take a look at this? Hey! That's it, sir! That's it! That's what? My head was a blank until this very moment. So now I remember! Sir. You mean you remember what happened? Correct! That card was the cause of it all! This ID card? Exactly, sir, that's exactly it! Nothing could be more exact, sir, nothing! I better pry into this one a little deeper. Can you tell me what it is you do remember? Well, sir, you might say I'm a lost little patrolman. A lost little lamb, if you will. You know Mr. Detective Goodman who was in the evidence room? And that's why you thought he looked suspicious. Sir, I entered the evidence room and asked the man to show me his ID card. Well, that sounds pretty much by the book so far. Well, that's right, sir. That's what I've been trying to tell you. So, you asked Detective Goodman to show his ID card. What did he do? That's the thing! Suddenly he pointed a knife at me! What? Sir, I assure you I was as flustered as you are right now. So I whooped and leapt at him. Detective Goodman pointed a knife at him? Do unto others before they do unto you. His words, sir. What happened then? Well, my eyes, sir. Everything went white. When I awoke, I was here. Right. So, Officer Meekins, why was it that they arrested you? What do you mean, Emma? Well, let's look at what we know. Now, Officer Meekins didn't know Detective Goodman, and the victim whom he met at the scene of the crime didn't show his ID card. In other words, we have no way of knowing if the victim was really the victim. And if this body just disappeared from the evidence room, we don't even know if anyone actually died. That's it, sir! That's what I wanted to say. I did say something along those lines. Huh? But you still ended up here? They told me that it had to be him, sir. On that day, at that time, Detective Goodman was definitely in the evidence room. That's what they said. But you don't remember the events clearly. No, but the videotape is quite clear. Huh? Videotape? From the security camera. The crime, my crime, the crime I swore to stamp out, it's there. It's me, it's on the tape. And you waited until now to tell us this? I'm sorry, real sorry, sir. I'll hand over my badge, I don't deserve it. No thanks, I have my own. Well, guess we better go check out the crime scene. Maybe Goodman will be there? Goodman? Jesus, maybe Marshall will be there? I want to see him. How do we get there? Criminal Affairs. February 23, Police Station Criminal Affairs Department. Hey, Mr. Wright. Look who's standing at the Chief of Detectives desk. It's Police Chief Gant. Uh-oh. And you're sure this is all? You know what it means if there is anything missing. Sir, I'm sure it's mostly likely totally perfect. We checked all of his drawers, lockers, garbage cans, bags, coat pockets, hats, under his secret cushion, behind his personal computer, inside the personal coffee machine. I see. Well, if anything does turn up, you call me right away, deal? Yes, sir. We'll scour the place again, sir. The chief of detectives looks a little flustered. Righto, my boy. How you been? Swim much? Oh, Chief Gunn, reporting for duty, sir. Why are you saluting him, Mr. Wright? Is Edgeworth going to be okay? Oh, Worthy. Well, you know, they're doing a little inquiry committee with him. Sounds like an inquisition. Yep, well, they've had no end of trouble with the boy since last year. You mean the incident on Gold Lake? Doesn't look good having a top prosecutor sit in the defendant's seat, does it? And you got someone else found guilty in that case, right, Righto? Von Karma. A legend he was, undefeated in his 40-year career. But in court, you fixed it so he was caught for forging evidence. Wait, I didn't do anything wrong. He did forge evidence. In any case, the prosecutor's office is in a bit of turmoil, you might say. Why, they'd do just about anything to restore their reputation. Now, depending on what that inquiry committee decides, it could be bad for Worthy. What? Be nice to him. Stand right on, I tell you. The detective getting killed on their own turf, too, I mean. That being the prosecutors, I assume. And typically speaking, it's impossible. Yes, but that's what the evidence is saying. Goodman was stabbed in 2 locations at the same time. That's what it says. What evidence is this? No, Ryder. I can't give away all our secrets just like that. Serena, hi! I have not, in fact, been swimming lately. I wish I had, actually. I would like to go swimming before it gets too cold. Have you been swimming lately, Serena? And this in particular, well, it's a little sensitive, and I can't talk about it. I wasn't expecting much anyway. You know, one thing I hate most of all is hiding stuff. Secrets, can't stand them. Literal swimming meaning in good shape and spirit. I have been swimming. I've been having a really nice time lately, actually. It's been focused. Well, you know, it's a full-time job just keeping the chief of detectives trap shop. He was the one you were picking on earlier. You saw that. Whoops. I wonder what it was that you wanted the chief of detectives to do. Let's see if we can kind of discreetly ask him. Ask Gam? I wouldn't mind the theme played at a haunted house. The organ goes kinda hard, right? Can I? This is the chief, right? Sorry you had to see that. What exactly did the chief of police want you to do? I'll see over there. That's Goodman's desk. He wanted me to check it out for anything that might be a clue. And they took away every last piece of garbage in the trash can. So nothing belonging to Detective Goodman is still here? Of course not. Well, except for this. What? You kept something? Sure, why not? It's not important. He didn't even finish writing it. It's a lost item report, but it's only half complete. Lost item? Did Detective Goodman lose something? The date on it is February 21. Better make a note of that just in case. Goodman's lost item report added to the court record. A half-written document dated 2/21 can only be submitted to the chief of police. Interesting. I should really get back to investigating the police department crime scene. I don't want to snitch and present this, do I? Actually, I was wondering if I could ask you a favor. Well, I never thought the day would come when Ryder asked me for help. I was wondering if we could investigate the evidence room. No, Ryder. Actually, I'm sorry. I don't need to investigate it after all. Ryder, please. Do I look like a selfish man? Huh? That was nerve-wracking. He's so creepy. Heck, if anyone asks me, "Sir, can I borrow $50?" I give them $50, no problem. So go ahead, investigate that room to your heart's content, knock yourself out. I like him. It just goes to show, you never know until you ask. And for you? Yeah, you can borrow this. Well, thank you. This is the detective's ID card, isn't it? It's a special card for guests, so don't lose it. Yes, sir. It's an honor. This one also says Sergeant Bruce Goodman in blood text, but we'll overlook that. You just run along and do your best now. Later, folks. Oof. It looks pretty cool on my lapel, doesn't it? Just think, a real ID. You seem happy. Yes, sir! Because, sir, we get to go into the evidence room now, sir! I think this place is a bad influence on the girl. Alright, let's go get some evidence. Marshall, damn it! Can I move straight in? No, I have to examine. The evidence room is beyond that door. And we have the ID card from Chief Gann. Let's just walk in. It won't open. Aha! The card reader is turned off, see? What is that security guard thinking? Howdy, partners. Oh, well, what's made my Bambina's sky so grey? Hi. 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 I love him. The theme. Okay. Officer Marshall. Why does it have to be him? What's the why does it have to be him look for? As you may have surmised, this here's my saloon. We're here to investigate the crime scene. Yeah, that card you got there on your chest. Well, that's better than a sheriff's badge in these parts. Yeehaw? Wow, what you standing there for? Get along, little doggies. The crime scene's awaiting. Yeehaw! Looks like the card reader's on again. While we're here, I was wondering if we could ask you some questions? Sorry, cowboy, but I got no man to tangle with you, hombres. You're busy, then. Did I say that? I only said I didn't wish to speak with you. Actually, you said you had no minds to tangle with us hombres. You look scary like this, sir. You don't want to speak to us? But what if I speak to you, though? I was wondering if we could talk to you. Sorry, Bambina, but I'm off to roam the lands like a tumbleweed on the wide prairie. Like a gunslinger loading his 6-shooter, I say a little prayer. That's right. We have something for you. What was that all about, Mr. Wright? I think he was just too hungry to talk. You're just saying that because his stomach was growling. You have no idea what he was talking about either. Well, in any case, we need to get cracking on this investigation pronto. Alright, time to soften this man up. That smell. Reminds me of Texas. So, Officer Marshall, you're from Texas? No, I just saw a special on television the other day. This is from my baby. Yeah, Miss Starr. What's this? Hey, what's wrong? He's such a fake cowboy. Total poser. Unbelievable. I was gonna say this man's never been to Texas, and you would be right. A filet steak lunch? I see. I see. I don't see. I wonder what it means. Steak lunch given to Officer Marshall. Alright, Bambina. You win. Finally, it seems like he's willing to talk. Whew, okay. Officer Marshall, you're in charge of security for the evidence room, right?
You got good eyes, partner. It's an easy job and I'm grateful for it. Actually, Officer Meekins at the detention center told us. Ah, that poor little doggy. Poor guy, I keep getting his name wrong and calling him Meekly. He told us something. He said that when the stabbing occurred, you weren't at your station. Well, maybe I shouldn't be telling you this. But since I got demoted from detective 2 years ago.
Lemon, hi! Hi, how you doing?
Okay. Since I got demoted from detective 2 years ago, well, it might not look it, but I lost my fire for the job, you know.
Thank you! We have a lot of fun with the voices here. Next, I just need to learn accents, and then I can do like 1,000 more. So, what were you doing around 5:15 when the murder took place?
Well, I reckon I was galloping down the highway on the back of my steed, Zippy.
No, he was riding down the highway on his horse named Zippy.
There's no need for people here, anyhow. These newfangled machines do a bang-up job of keeping an eye on the place.
You mean the security camera system?
I don't take to machines much. Kinda like that stewed broccoli they sneak in next to your steak, you know?
Accents are so fun, even though I butcher half of them. I wish I could even... It's not even a matter of, like, oh, I don't want to do an accent, I'm gonna do it badly. I just, like, straight up I can't make... I'm not good at correcting the sounds, you know? Miss Starr told us something. She said that you were a detective until 2 years ago.
It was always my dream to be a rawhide wrangler on the scene of the crime. And that's all gone now, like a drinking hole in a prairie fire.
You're still investigating the SL9 incident with Miss Starr, aren't you?
That was my case. It's all solved on the record books, but it smells like a bad game of poker. I can't let it go. That's all there is to it.
What kind of case was it anyway? I've played way too many video games with characters with different accents, so I just end up mimicking them as I play. Love that, to be honest. Yeah, I wish that Ace Attorney was like voice acted. It would be cool to have more accents written out. Or like, yeah, to hear more accents. We've heard the name so many times, but no one tells us what actually happened.
There are some things you're better off not knowing, Bambino. Anyway, that case is officially dead as of 2 days ago.
2 days ago? The day of our case.
That's right. The evidence transferals.
Edgeworth was talking about the transferals too.
I know what maybe 2 of the machines in here do.
Only 2 of them? Be a dozen.
Like I said, Bambina, me and machines, well, I like them about as much as I like stewed cauliflower with my steaks.
So you were going to get you were just straight up going to get scrappy. I'm sorry, that's the reality of the situation here.
The easiest ones to understand are those here security cameras.
Those are the ones that Officer Meekins mentioned.
If nothing happens, the tapes are automatically erased every few hours.
And Officer Meekins and Detective Goodman, are they on one of those tapes?
I reckon they might be.
You're the security guard and you reckon?
One more thing. When you go into the evidence room, you need an ID card.
Thus, the card reader by the door.
The card reader leaves a record of every ID card that passes through.
Pog. Okay, cool. So this is the ID card record. Hey, I've seen that somewhere before.
Sorry, Bambina, I can't show you more than that.
Huh?
I haven't heard whether this is related to the case yet.
Mr. Wright, I saw a number on that record just now. I've seen that number before.
Maybe there's some way I can prove that record is tied to the stabbing.
Sorry, but could you explain what this whole transferal thing is about?
We keep only evidence from solved cases in this room. They're kept here under the presiding detective's supervision for 2 years. So we can reinvestigate them if it turns out that's a mistake, see? So what happens to the evidence after 2 years? It goes to sleep forever in the underground vault at the county sheriff's department. That's what we call transferal. We do it every February.
I see now.
Transferal is like a funeral for old cases. 2 years after a case is solved, it's closed forever. Dead. Never to be reopened again. Never to be reinvestigated.
And that happened to SO9.
And that happened to SO9 2 days ago.
Okay, proving that things are connected. I didn't catch if this ID was on it, but do we have the other ID?
No.
59, and that's like scribbled out? Wait, 59 or S? No, 59 for sure. And his ID number is actually, I have 8. See this? This is the victim's ID card.
Ah, the one that was on the ground in the parking lot. The number on this is 5842189.
Officer Marshall, show us that ID card record again. 5842189. What's the fourth number? It's a perfect match.
It was used at 514.
Right before the stabbing.
What's more, there's only one of them cards in the world.
So, when the incident occurred, Detective Goodman was in the evidence room. But, wait, what did Officer Meekins say? Sir, I entered the evidence room and asked the man to display his ID card.
So, you asked Detective Goodman to show his ID card. What did he do?
Well, that's the thing! Suddenly he pointed a knife at me. If he had his ID card then, why would he have pointed a knife at Officer Meekins?
Alright, compadre, you win. I guess I can give you this ID card record.
ID card record added to the court record. IDs of all who entered the evidence room on 2/21.
I've got an idea. Maybe I should show this list to other people with IDs here. Interesting. Very interesting. Gumshoe, maybe? Okay. Can we go in? Or is it to move or examine? I love that it's only giving evidence because we prove we're worthy. Love that.
Yeah. He's a cool guy. Alright. February 23rd, evidence room sector 3.
It's quiet. The investigation must be over here.
So this is the evidence room. It really is kind of like a graveyard.
Graveyards are supposed to have grass and trees. This feels more like a morgue.
Nice try, Mr. Wright. You can't scare me. Eek!
Whoa! Okay.
Sorry, I thought you were a ghost.
I wouldn't recommend going around smacking ghosts on the head, pal. So, is it true what I heard? Ryder, please, do I look like a selfish man? If anyone asked me, sir, can I borrow 50? I'd give them $50, no problem. So go ahead, investigate that room to your heart's desire. Lock yourself out. Yeah, it's true. So, Chief of Police Scout, loan anyone $50? Even me?
Oh, so that's what you were talking about.
Actually, I was put in charge of the investigation for today. Just for today?
Just for a day.
He desperately needs money. Edgeworth has cut his salary down to so small. Guess what? You got permission from the chief, so now you're boss for the day. Gee, thanks. First of all, we want to have this.
Thank you, Gumshoe, for just straight up handing over evidence. Love to see it. Scene of the stabbing of a detective at the PD. Evidence room floor plans. Does he have an ID? Could you take a look at this? This is the ID card record of everyone who came in here on the day of the stabbing.
Ah, I heard the rumors. So, it was Goodman who came in here at the time of the murder. Whoa!
What is it?
That second number. It's not your ID number, is it, Detective Gumshoe? Mr. Edgeworth. What? The second number on this list belongs to Mr. Edgeworth. I like that he has Edgeworth's ID number memorized, but also this is, huh? What? What? ID card record updated in the court record. Soup plot. Soup plot for real. I have no memory of this at all. Why was Edgeworth here? Why would Edgeworth have come to the evidence room? So, Detective Gumshoe, your boss for the day? That's right. It's an honor. After all, the murder took place right here in the police department. But if you're the boss, why are you all alone? Where are your underlings? Oh, Gumshoe. Oh, Gumshoe. Oh, Gumshoe. We're using yesterday's findings to prepare for tomorrow's trial. In other words, you got kicked out of the investigation. Again. I'm adamant, though. I'm gonna take control and put this case to rest. You may ruin evidence, locker pal. You have a locker in here, too, Detective Gumshoe. Of course. I am a detective, after all. They gave me a locker that only I can open, pal. Only you can open? Let's talk about Edgeworth. I'll always believe in Mr. Edgeworth, no matter what happens. So, Mr. Edgeworth is with the inquiry committee now, right? They're trying to figure out who's responsible for the mess up in court today. I see. I guess this is what you call fate. Mr. Edgeworth just can't get away from that case. That case? Yeah, that case. The SO9 incident, of course. That was the beginning of the end for Mr. Edgeworth. Maybe we can get him to tell us more about the case. This place is more high-tech than you might think. And every locker is fixed so that only one detective can open it. Using their ID card. Well, that's the thing, pal. ID cards can be lost. Hydrate? Thank you, Sam. Let me drink some water. Ah, much better. Oh, that's the thing, pal. ID cards can be lost. Why, I'm on my third card since entering the force already. That sounds like a lot. Yeah, but even I can't lose my own right hand. Right hand? Oh, you mean your fingerprint? Exactly, pal. A lock for each locker is coded with a fingerprint. So the only locker we can open is our own. Funny, they look like normal lockers. These are the latest model. There's a trick to the handles, see? The handles? On the other side of the handles is a sensor, and if the wrong person touches it... That! You got a shock! If that's what happened, my hand would be black and smoking every day. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. Evidence locker added to the court record. Only the assigned detective's prints can unlock it. Indicator lamp lights up when it's open. Okay. SO9. A piece of paper? Detective Goodman's note. And that switchblade knife. I bet Edgeworth was the most surprised of anyone. Because of the SO9 connection? That was Mr. Edgeworth's first big case, you know, 2 years ago. That was the first time the world knew Edgeworth was a man to be feared. But why would evidence from that case turn up now? I guess it's not over, pal. Maybe there are some loose ends left on that case. Now that was a bloody, violent case. Violent? So it was a murder. Serial killing. A serial killing? Maybe I don't want to get involved in this after all. The killer made a mistake, and Mr. Edgeworth built his case around that to nab him. And this was 2 years ago? That put Mr. Edgeworth right in the spotlight, and started the rumour mill. Rumours? About forged evidence? was supposed to be all cleaned up with the transferal the other day. It was the last job he ever did. Detective Goodman, that is.
Huh? What do you mean?
Detective Goodman was the detective in charge of the SO9 incident, see?
So that switchblade knife.
The victim took the knife out of the evidence locker himself?
The thick portions. Alright. Okay, time to examine. Forgetting how to slide. What is this Lauren paint doing here?
Since the dawn of time, Chua has always been a war against oppression.
True art? I noticed that there's blue and yellow paint here.
Perhaps we're witnessing the birthplace of the Blue Badger? Well, you might say this is my studio.
Here? In the evidence room?
Cute.
Someone left a glove here, but only one.
Detective Gumshoe, maybe. There you go, pal, making me out to be some kind of absent-minded detective. That's evidence from the case, you know.
You mean SL9?
It does have a tag on it.
Rubber glove added to the court record. Tagged evidence from the SL9 incident. Extremely thin rubber glove. Wow, someone must have broken something big to make all these pieces.
Detective Gumshoe, perhaps? There you go, pal, making me out to be some kind of hooligan. That's apparently from the case.
The case?
The SO9 incident, pal. See the sticker on one of the pieces there?
Another piece of SL9 evidence. I wonder what shape these pieces were in before whatever it was broke. You want to try to put it back together?
Huh. Good luck, pal. It's no job for amateurs. Why, I spent a good 3 hours on that before I had to give up.
That's why I always carry around a tube of glue.
Well, this piece looks like the bottom.
Let's try putting the rest in place. Oh god, are we doing 3D?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Okay. I have to turn off Herlock for this so I can see my whole screen properly. Watch me solve an actual puzzle. And I'm also going to remove my me. I can go over there for now. None of these look like the correct shapes. Oh, I see. Okay. Do you fit? Yes, okay, cool. What's next? Big chunky side piece. Not quite. Is it this piece? Okay. Not doing terribly. That should be correct. No. This piece. There we go. This looks like this piece? Yes. Plugging. And then sharp pointy. Nearly there. Not you. It must be you, but... Oh, sorry. I have to rotate that first. Facing like that. There we go. The scale of the pieces really throws you. Okay, missing a chunk, but we did it. We did it! Plugging. Let me put myself back. There we go. Huh? Well, I think we did it, but some of the pieces are missing. Yeah, I got that far too in 2 minutes myself. The problem is finishing it.
Bye, Alan! Thank you for stopping by. See you later. I hope you enjoy your dinner. Were some pieces stolen?
I bet they were missing to begin with. Still, it doesn't look like the most stable kind of jar.
I kind of understand how it got broken.
Unstable jar added to the court record. Jar pieced back together from fragments found at the crime scene. A piece is missing. Huge. Okay. Anything else I need? Maybe we should examine the bloodstain. What's this? Blood.
It's a little worn, but there's definitely a handprint here.
It looks like someone tried to wipe it off.
Mr. Wright! There are other bloodstains left in the room.
We should use our testing fluid to check it out. Okay, how do I do that? If I present the luminol? Want me to say one thing, speaking as a detective? If I see a piece of evidence I know nothing about, I say nothing. Nothing. That's fine. You bet it's fine, pal. Okay, we don't present it. Is there a... Oops, that's the jar. I don't believe it. Oh, I can check this. Aw, she wrote her name on the bottom. That's cute. Connected? There we go. Okay. We got blood here.
I knew it! This is someone's right handprint.
What? What's the matter, detective? This locker! It's mine!
It's yours?
Please. You have to help me. They've come to take me away. Promise you'll testify that I wouldn't harm a fly. You'll do that for me, won't you, pals? This is an important clue. I'll jot it down on the floor plans. I'm counting on you guys. Believe me, you can't trust the police.
What? But you're a detective!
I love him. I care him. Okay, where else do we have blood? Over here? Oh my goodness, yes. Can I not, like... There we go. Oh, that must have been one massive pool of blood. Never seen anything like it. I'm not a professional. What's your opinion, detective? Pale blue blood. Maybe Detective Goodman was actually an alien?
This proves that something really happened in front of this locker.
I'll make a note of it on the floor plans. Hey, if you didn't want my opinion, you shouldn't have asked. Well, Gumshoe, we just didn't think that your opinion would be quite so. Nothing there. Nothing there. I really feel like my little memories are telling me that this should be... Oh, there we go.
Why am I getting a reaction here?
There's no reason for the murderer to touch this spot if he fled out the door. This just might be something significant. Hey, that's some pretty amazing stuff you got there, pal.
What, this? It's called luminol testing fluid.
Where'd you get your hands on that?
Huh?
I'd like to get some too. I'll just borrow $50 from the chief. Where do you get this, Emma?
I always buy it by mail order.
Well, I'd better jot this down on the floor plans. Hey, pal, look at the time. Was there something you needed to be going to? It's just that Mr. Edgeworth's inquiry committee should be letting out soon. I'm gonna give them my report for the day.
Huh? Très bien? Wait, that's mentioned now?
Cute. Okay, okay. Anyway. It might help, you know?
Report? You mean the note written on the back of that flyer?
The one that says nothing but no problems? Hey, it's Mr. Edgeworth we're talking about. I'm sure he can use a report like this.
Here.
I believe in him.
Oh, Easter egg, let's go. I suppose it makes sense since this was DLC, right?
That they would already be in production. I believe in him.
Who needs enemies when you've got friends like Detective Gumshoe?
I'm off, pal. Later.
Bye, Gumshoe. I should probably see what Edgeworth has to say too. We get to see Edgeworth? We get to see Edgeworth? Please, please, please. Yeah. Cool cowboy. Yeah. I've got a cooler boy to see. Or maybe I don't. Damn, I was really hoping I'd be able to get to the prosecutor's office. Are you sure I can't if I just go to the right place first? Oh, yes!
Plugging out the gourd.
February 23. High Prosecutor's Office, room 1202. Huh? You're here? What is what is going on?
Ah, guests. My apologies. Oh, it's you. Have we met somewhere?
Huh?
Mr. Edgeworth, I beg your leave. So long.
Is Edgeworth here? He's standing by the window, a teacup in his hand. Aww. What?
Right.
He has the hotel bring him tea service? Mr. Edgeworth, you're back from the District Prosecutor's Office inquiry?
I am.
By the way, Detective Gumshoe was looking for you.
Ah, yes. He brought me the latest information, it seems.
Really? Was it helpful?
Apparently, a new French restaurant is opening near here. I think he was trying to console me, somehow.
The real info is on the other side, Edgeworth. The back of the back. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth. I think this whole thing is really taking a toll on him.
So, how did the inquiry committee go? Actually, they decided to treat this not as a case of concealing evidence, but as a communications error during the investigation.
Concealing evidence?
Yes, apparently there are some who believe that I concealed evidence. They gave me a warning. You were lucky this time. Again.
Again?
I've heard them say that so many times. Ever since that case 2 years ago.
Are you okay for the trial tomorrow?
Well, I'm still the presiding prosecuting attorney. However,
Something happened?
they gave control of the investigation over to the police department.
The police department?
Yes. Any further investigation for this case will be directed by the Chief of Police Gant. I can do nothing but wait for his results.
I see.
Why, I ask you, why? All along I've done only what I believe is right. I have nothing to be ashamed of. But still.
Oh, I've never seen him this out of sorts. Wait, hang on, sorry, wrong button. Skip through this, and then we can present him something from SL9 maybe? Get him to talk about it. I feel like we're just walking around waving this note in everyone's face.
I know you've probably got a hold of some information already, right?
It all has to do with that case you were on. The SL9 incident. And some dark suspicion you were wrapped up in.
You are the man who revived the worst memory of my life. I figured I'd be telling you about this sooner or later. He must be talking about his father's murder in that elevator. Okay, Edgeworth, why don't you tell me about it? Tell me the truth. The SL9 incident was a heinous serial killing case. The head of the investigation was the deputy chief of police at the time, Damon Gant. That wacky old Crew was involved in the case 2 years ago too then. He was a top officer and it was my first time working with him. I was nervous.
Wow, you get nervous too, Mr. Edgeworth? What I want to know is why I was a deputy chief of police on the investigation.
In truth, I used slightly more extreme methods than normal. We were dealing with a vicious murderer. If I let him go, the blood would be on my hands. We won our guilty verdict and the killer was executed.
Wait,
You didn't. Of course not. I didn't touch the evidence. Yes, I will do anything in my power to win a trial. However, I do have a code and I follow it faithfully.
I'm proud of him. Can we get more information still? Oh, his ID card. Do we have a note on that? Oh, right! I better check this now.
As I was saying, What's this? A record of ID card usage?
Edgeworth, you went into the evidence room that day, didn't you? Just before the incident occurred, no less.
Yes, that's true.
Why, Mr. Edgeworth?
Please don't look at me like that. I was asked to go. By Chief Gant, no less.
The chief of police?
He wanted evidence for a case that wrapped up half a year ago. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office.
But it was solved, right? And it would have to be if the evidence was already filed.
The chief is never one to explain himself. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here.
Can I ask what kind of case it was?
I can't say. It really has nothing to do with the current case.
Now I'm curious about this other case. I better make a note of it. Unrelated evidence. Screwdriver added to the court record. Evidence from a past case of Edgeworth's brought back to his office by Gant's request. AI-16.
Stubborn as always. I told you this has nothing to do with the current case. By the way, Emma, the chief prosecutor wanted to know something.
My sister? What?
If you were still studying forensic science.
Huh? Yes, of course. Why just today Mr. Wright and I were using this?
Luminol testing fluid. Well then, you might have use for this.
Aluminum powder for taking fingerprints.
It's been chemically treated for better adhesion.
For me? Are you sure? We are the enemy, you know.
I have no say in today's investigation. Do as you will.
Edgeworth, I'm really...
No need to thank me. Here, take your powder and these fingerprint files for everyone involved.
Thanks.
How about giving these to Detective Gumshoe as well? I love him so much!
Fingerprinting set and fingerprint file received. Recovers fingerprints from handprints for comparison with fingerprint file.
I would never live slug when these two are on screen. That would be absurd. That would be stupid.
Well, let's get going. One last investigation.
Right.
I do seem to remember seeing a suspicious handprint somewhere.
Okay, are we just going straight on back to oh my god, I love him.
Mwah. Will!
What? Two of them. What time is it for you?
Not like 1 AM. Why? What's going on? One, hydrate. Two, hydrate. Thank you, Will. I hope you had a Pogus day today.
Or, no, there's no way you're waking up at 1 AM.
Okay. Goodbye, Edgeworth. It's 11. Oh my god. Sorry. Yep. Maths. My problem was that I forgot that clocks go to 12 and not 10. If we did time in base 10, then it would be 1 a.m. But we don't do time in base 10. We do time in base 12. Oopsie. Where am I going? I want to go to the testing center. No one is in my office but me, so I am free to do what I want. Pug. Will hangs out. That is so pogger. Marshall's gone. February 23. Evidence room, sector 3. Our investigation turned up a suspicious handprint. Here, in this blood on the detective's evidence locker. Let's use the secret weapon we just borrowed. Right, let's get started. First, choose a finger. A finger. Each finger leaves behind a slightly different imprint. So let's choose the finger that will have left behind the clearest print. I really can't tell the difference at a glance. Quit procrastinating and choose a finger! I want this one. I feel like this one the blood is too dense, so there won't be a clear print. This is a nice, like, middle ground. Okay, now it's time to check for prints. Let me show you how it's done. Emma's starting to get that sparkle in her eyes. First, we sprinkle the aluminum powder around. Huh? How do you do that? With the A button, see? Looks like that did the trick. The aluminum powder adheres completely to the print. And once the powder is well spread, just blow away the excess. Huh? How do I do that? With the X button. Exciting, I know. Imagine you're blowing it out the candles on a birthday cake. See? Wow, that looks like fun. It might take some getting used to, though. It's fine. It won't go up your nose or anything. You just pour the powder on thick and blow away the extra. Those are the basics of fingerprinting, Mr. Wright. I guess I'd better give it a try. Powder, 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 powder. Aha! You did it! You found one! But this looks nothing like a fingerprint. Now that you mention it, I guess it doesn't. What does it mean? I think it means we're out of luck. Out of luck? The person who left this handprint must have worn gloves. Don't tell me we've been wasting our time here. Hey, calm down. That's just the way it goes sometimes with scientific investigations. But it does seem a shame. While we're at it, why don't we look for other prints? Other prints? Looking at the locker door closely again closely. It seems like there are fingerprints outside the bloody handprint as well. Let's see if we can find a clear print. Fingerprints outside the blood. Hello? Pog? We got one, boys. How thickly do I have to do this before it will just count it? Still thicker still? Okay. You've really got to get every pixel. Yay! There we go. Yay! A print so clear it's dazzling! Dazzling? Anyway, this print took a lot of effort to find. Let's match it up right away. So we're not done yet? This is quite a process. Well, there's no point in finding a fingerprint and not knowing who the owner is, right? I guess she's right. Look at the fingerprint data we got from Mr. Edgeworth and point out the person you think left these prints. Huh? How am I supposed to know who it was? I could make a pretty good guess. The bloody handprint and the fingerprints are in different places, right? That means that the prints probably don't have anything to do with our case. So, whose fingerprints would we most likely find on this evidence locker?
Do we know whose locker it is? No. Oh.
Mr. Gumshoe. Comparison complete. Match found. Aha! So these prints belong to Detective Gumshoe. Something wrong, Mr. Wright? You gave me this so what look.
I guess that's probably because I was thinking, so what?
Okay, so we came up with nothing this time, but there's always next time. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. You gotta roll with the punches, Mr. Wright.
Thanks for the sympathy. Wait, if I remember correctly, there was one other handprint in this room. Let's check it out. Now, that was to the left, right? Do I court record? Yeah, there we go. I can't examine it though? Maybe I just examine like this?
This is where we got a luminol fluid reaction, right? Wait, there was a handprint here. Okay, wanna try using this?
There go her eyes sparkling again. Okay, let's check for prints.
The spirit? Oh, but I have to warn you about something first.
What?
The area with the blood was wiped away, right?
We only ended up finding it using chemical means.
She's so cute, I love her. Every Ace Attorney case always has a weird little girl who sticks by you.
She's so charming.
Any prints in that area will have been wiped away too.
Oh, right. So that means no prints.
Would you say the probability of your hypothesis is high?
Don't ask me.
Anyway, we must try to find prints that weren't wiped away.
Prints other than the ones left by the bloody hand.
Okay, let's see what we got.
I don't see anything looking like a print on my screen. So. Not the bloody hand. In this case. Is it just like where the remaining finger would be? Like here? Ah, yeah, hog. Cool, okay. Yeah. I like that this portion of the game, they're like, let's introduce a new mechanic. It just involves mashing A.
Print acquired.
Now, I believe this one, yeah. Mr. Marshall.
Comparing. Comparison complete. Match found.
Hey, these fingerprints, they...
Whose are they? Whose? Is it someone I know?
It's Officer Marshall.
Huh? Officer Jake Marshall?
Marshall's fingerprints added to the court record.
But that's got to be a coincidence. He's not involved in the crime.
Emma, this is decidedly different from Detective Gumshoe's prints. The luminol reaction. The blood and the fingerprints are in the same place.
Oh. Oh!
So, we have Jake Marshall's fingerprints on a wiped bloodstain.
But why would Officer Marshall...
It looks like our investigation is finally turning up some results. I guess this is what you'd call decisive evidence.
I don't believe it.
I'm sorry, Emma.
And we did it! Kind of a long investigations portion, but we made it all the way through. Now we get to go to court. Okay. And we get to see more Miles.
And we get to work out what the fuck is going on here. February 24, 9:41 AM. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2.
Break time? You know what? I think that's a good idea. I am going to run upstairs and get a snack. But it won't be very long. Where's my BRB screen? Here it is. Let me play some music. Hehe. Yeah, break is a good idea. Let me go grab some food and I will be back in just a second. I hope you guys can use this time to also go take care of yourselves for a moment. Okay, howdy. I'm just eating my little food. And my cats, Pug. I miss my cat. Cats are so good. Making eye contact with my dog who desperately wants my food so badly. I've got a hot cross bun. I'm so happy that we're around Easter time. I hate that you can't get these all year round. They should be available all the time. Right? But I like that they go on sale after Easter. Warm hot cross bun with jam. I never see hot cross buns outside of the months of like February to May. They just disappear after May and then you have to wait until next year. But Easter this weekend, Pog. I'm going to gorge myself on chocolate. Hot cross bun's my favorite thing, right? Clearly there's demand for them year round, but also I wonder if maybe there would be less demand. Like, it's sort of the novelty, right? Coles did have them year round 1 year? Pog? Okay. Food inhaled. Let's do a trial. This one. Here we go. Alright. February 24, 9:41 AM. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. So, what do you think, Mr. Wright? I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. After all, the victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time, and a different suspect was arrested at each of the crime scenes. Hannah! Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed. I hope they didn't hold you too long for questioning. We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though. So how'd it go? Just as Mr. Wright suspects.
The police are clueless. I figured as much, so I struck a plea bargain.
A plea bargain? What do you mean by that?
We agreed that if I told them the truth behind this simultaneous murder, they wouldn't seek capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma.
But Lana, don't tell me you...
Much to my regret, I'm as much in the dark about this as they are. Miss Skye.
Hmm?
We found trace evidence of a certain person in the police department's evidence room. They belonged to Officer Jake Marshall.
What kind of
trace evidence? Blood-stained fingerprints, to be exact. That's the trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you?
In order to defend my sister, you're going to accuse Mr. Marshall?
We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Skye?
Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright. February 24, 11 AM, District Court, Courtroom number 9.
Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is... I'm afraid you'll have to clarify. It takes 30 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet the victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain at both places at the same time. But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I hear the victim from the evidence room just disappeared.
Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car.
Wow, this is one messed up trial. One of my duties as prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself.
Now that's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things, even though he doesn't know what's going on himself. Even though he's got a head full of rocks too.
And that's supposed to be an admirable trait? Phoenix is like, come on, I never know what I'm doing. I still act like I'm on top of things. Very well, let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand. For its first witness, the prosecution calls the suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department. Suspect? You mean the so-called murderer?
Meekins?
Oh boy. Things are getting wild from the get-go. Will the witness please state... Sorry, no. Will the witness please state his name and occupation?
Yes, sir. I am Officer Mike Meekins, sir. My occupation is, that would be murderer, sir.
So you're telling us you're a professional killer?
It was me, sir. I'm the one who did it. I'll never kill anyone again, sir. You've got to believe me, sir.
Actually, what we'd like from you...
Sir, I'm the one you would call part of the younger generation, sir. The person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend.
Please, Mr. Edgeworth, sir, help me, sir. Officer Meekins.
Yes, sir. Where the hell did you get a megaphone for?
They're notorious for not confiscating anything from the defendants.
They just let him come in with their whole megaphone.
Give us your report of the crime. Consider that an order.
Yes, sir, as you wish. After all, I am part of a generation that must be told what to do, sir. You can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm. Crime report, sir. Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life. Then I did it. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake.
Oh, Meekins. I don't think you did do it, baby. His head tilt when he does the salute is so cute, right? I think he's a really fun character. So the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you.
Do unto others before they do unto you. That's the Meekins family motto, sir.
I see. Then you fainted and a colleague helped you regain consciousness.
Yes, sir. He knocked me upside the head, sir.
Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. What I need here is more info to work with. Okay, he was really vague on a lot of this. He was guarding the evidence room. Why? This must be quote-unquote Goodman. He was attacked. Leaving out the part about the card. So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you?
It was a knife, sir. A knife.
Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you. What happened to them?
Well, with me charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised as I was.
You aren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into.
But that's the way I reacted, sir. I swung my arms like an octopus, struggling to detain him. That's how I got this gash on my hand. Maybe if you just kept your cool, your hand wouldn't be... Well, when I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar. I fought for my life. I did it.
What exactly do you mean when you say you did it?
I know I don't look the type, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir. The man let his guard down for just an instant, so I snatched his knife from him.
You took his knife?
I spun him around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man.
See. He must have been desperate.
The next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of my blood. And then the next thing I knew...
Yes?
He punched me right in my face, sir.
I feel like somebody should take that megaphone away from him. I love him already, but also I feel like it would be better if he didn't have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he passed out. So how did you kill him if you got punched?
Then another officer smacked him awake. This is what he was telling us yesterday.
Well, we need to try and skim some more details from him.
For starters, what was an officer from the General Affairs Department doing in there in the first place? Right, let's press him for all he's worth.
You mean like at least take it away in the damn courtroom? Yeah, in a different game in the Ace Attorney franchise, there's like a jurist system, and one of the jurors just straight up with a knife. Just in court, just a literal knife in court. It's fine, don't worry about it. Mr. Meekins, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not?
Yes, sir. I am in charge of hiring new recruits, sir.
Yikes, now that's a scary thought. Evidence transferal was taking place on the day of the crime, which meant many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed.
I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir.
The Blue Badger?
Yes, sir. The lovely police mascot created by the Chief of Detectives, sir. I was to ensure it wasn't broken during the transferal process. That was my sole mission for that day, sir.
I see. Sounds like a very, important mission.
After the award ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around, that I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. Sonic version 2! That's the one!
So that's why you went to the evidence room. Tell us, what did you see when you got there?
Suspicious man.
In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card, am I correct?
Precisely, sir. I have one right here around my neck.
So then, your ID number should be listed on here, right?
There it is! I found it! This is the one right here.
Could you please read us the number?
Yes, sir. It's 4989596. That's my number, sir.
I see. Huh? But the number 4989596 is shown as being used twice. Please explain, witness.
Well, this is no real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. And the second time was when I went to go get him after everything settled down.
I see. So it was during that second time when...
Yes, sir. That was when I spotted the man on the security screen. Data added to ID card record. Okay, so now we have everyone except the top one. 7777777. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. Okay. Okay. So... I think this is the only one we haven't pressed yet, so let's press this one. So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you? It was a knife, sir. A knife.
Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you. What happened to that?
Well, it was me charging in on him like that. He looked as surprised as I was.
You aren't exactly... Oh, no, we did do this one. We've had this, okay. In that case... Bennett... No, we pressed on that one. We haven't pressed on this one yet. About what time did you regain consciousness?
No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious.
Oh, right. According to the report from the officer that woke up the witness, it was about 5:30.
Hit me right in the head, too. I woke up crying tears of pain.
That's nice. I mean, it's nice that you recovered, that is.
When I came around, though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir.
Your mission?
Yes, sir. The Blue Badger, sir. I returned into the entrance before things got out of hand.
Well, we can all rest easy now. I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened. Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? He's got a point. Yes, Officer Meekins?
With regard to that, sir, well, take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. Chief Gant delivered it to me just this morning, sir.
The chief delivered it? What is that? A videotape?
Yes, sir. That's absolutely right, sir. A videotape, sir. It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room.
What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape and was told it had been mistakenly erased. That's quite a mistake.
I just do what I'm told, sir. It's the only thing I'm really good at.
It looks like communication with the police department is as good as ever. Well then, let's have a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim.
Oh, please stop using that word murder, sir. It scares me.
A video of a real murder. Just what are we getting ourselves into? Oh boy. Okay. This song haunts my nightmares. Okay, we got someone walking through. We're in a big trench coat. We got the Blue Badger's stupid little dance. This is absolutely creepypasta worthy. Okay, something falls. I think that was the glove. We don't see their face. Meekins comes in, ready to apprehend. Fight, fight, kill, kill. Or attacks with a knife. Grapples, they get blood all over their coat. Meekins knocked unconscious, person disappeared. Person disappeared. paper now, or like fabric now sticking out of that locker. There wasn't anything before. Okay. Oh, Miles.
Well, I believe we're all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us?
What the hell was that wriggling piece of plywood? Sir, that is the pride and joy of the entire Criminal Affairs Department, sir. It's the Blue Badger, sir. Why am I not surprised this isn't going smoothly? Me too, Miles. Me too. Security video added to the court record.
Yes, well, anyway. This tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter, someone in the evidence room, and some sort of activity did take—
Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage, the witness's testimony will suffice. Is that alright with you, Officer Meekins? Yes, sir. As you wish, sir. Mystery Man. His face can't be clearly seen in the video, but there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. DJ, hi! Good evening. How you doing? You passed this point in your own playthrough? I mean, he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do so. The lockers he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it. Sleepy? Had enough on the couch? Love that for you.
What's this about a fingerprint?
Each detective has been given a locker, equipped with a fingerprint-activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to.
Intriguing. That would mean the victim at the crime scene would have to have been Detective Goodman. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination.
On day 3 of the Miles case? But you're gonna get spoiled! Yeah, this one's a case ahead. I don't know where this cross-examination will lead, but everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start. He opened the locker, which required the fingerprint to do. Unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker. No one else could have unlocked it. Someone else... It doesn't make sense for that to be Goodman. So someone else must have unlocked it. However, the most important detail is not shown in this video. The man's face. Sir! If I may say something, sir.
Please do. After all, you are the one being examined.
I don't understand why the man's face is so important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint lock. And it was this hand that tried to thrust his knife into my body, sir. My unsettled state could testify enough to this, sir.
Yes, you have a point. The footage doesn't lie.
That is, unless the defense can find a problem with it. Mr. Wright, let's check the court record again. Is there a problem with the security video? I am not going... I must have watched this video 30 times in my first playthrough. We are going to keep it to a minimum. The tape was provided by the police department, so there's no problem with it. Did I click the wrong thing? I tried to click problem. Did I click no problem? What is wrong with me? That's okay, it'll loop. I admire your trust in the police department, Mr. Wright. Well, if you ask me, I think there's a problem with what's shown on the tape, rather than with the actual tape itself. So sounds true enough, but the victim's body was found at the prosecutor's office. There has to be a mistake somewhere. The real thing's so much more intense than in the movies. Here, you can use the player to watch it as much as you'd like. The security video. Maybe I should take another look at the footage. I don't want to. Let's try pressing that again and picking the other option. This one? No, it's the next one, isn't it? unless the defense can find a problem with it. Yep, I clicked the wrong thing. That's on me. Regarding the video contained on this tape, there is one thing in particular that seems rather strange.
Strange.
This contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may not have been Detective Goodman.
What? This video contains such a contradiction.
Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal.
Yes, Mr. Edgewell?
I propose we have the defense point out to us this alleged contradiction in the video. He would want me to point it out.
Very well, proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence. I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us this contradiction you speak of.
I have to point out a problem in the video? This is the first time I've ever had to do that.
You can do it, Mr. Wright. It's set up so you can fast forward, rewind, or pause the video. Just take a good look and be sure to point out the right thing.
Please don't play it too many times. I can't stand watching this video. How did this guy ever become a police officer?
Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where is the contradiction that indicates the man may not be Detective Goodman?
Nothing wrong. That. This. I feel like I need to go back though. So let's rewind. So it's the second locker. Oh, there we go. I hope I'm right. The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. Officer Meekins.
Sir! Do you mean me, sir?
As I understand it, the locker apparatus works like this. When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint. If it's a match...
And Maggie? Oh my god! Oh my god, there's so many little Easter eggs.
Wondering about the glowing thinger? That's the light, baby! The light turns on and the lock is released.
Well, according to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir.
If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. Good of you to notice. I remember, because this is my second playthrough, so although I've forgotten a lot, I have a little bit of a clue what's up. I remember the first time I played this, I had to watch this clip so many times. When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker, let's rewind a little earlier. So slow. So slow. Here, notice the light.
What's this? It's already lit.
Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle.
Ah!
You are so poggers, Phoenix.
Order. Order. What's the meaning of this?
It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime. But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When a door is shut, a sensor is triggered, and the locker is automatically locked.
Oh, I know. It must have broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this.
That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction.
Oh well, it just goes to show novices should keep their mouths shut. So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation?
Me, Your Honor.
Yes. Why wasn't the locker locked?
Me, Your Honor?
Yes, well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator? Huh? Oh, maybe something like jammed the system sensor? Something jammed the sensor? Say, there's something else that seems out of place in this video. Yeah, I thought so too. There's got to be another clue somewhere in this footage.
Very well. Let's inspect the video once more. The locker wasn't locked. Mr. Wright, please point out the cause for this.
Ba-ba-da, ba-ba-da, ba-ba-da. Love. Ah! There we go. Love indeed. Please watch closely. This is the continuation of the part I showed you earlier. The audio stopped? Thank God. That stupid video haunts my dreams. Ah, yes. Ah, yes, the video that gets replayed over and over and over again. Welcome, Zeal. How you doing?
What's this? Something white fell out of the locker.
But sir, it's been my experience that things fall out when doors are opened. I often fall out and roll great distances when I open my door. And can't be sure that item was completely inside the locker to begin with.
What do you mean?
The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door?
Inserted? You can't be saying that word in a courtroom, right? Where do you think you are?
You spotted it! You are so poggers. Doing well, new follower but been liking a few streams. Really loved the art stream yesterday. Phoenix and Edgeworth, the precious babies. Thank you so much. It's lovely to have you with us, whether you're lurking or in chat or whatever. And yeah, I'm really glad you like the art streams. Those are my favorites to do. I just don't always have art juice. The auto Twitch emoji? Oh, I don't understand why a website used primarily by like young people would employ auto emoji. I love using like :D and it always screws me over. Alright. Thank you so much! Oh my gosh. Aww. Okay. Phoenix Wright. This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor. Oh, I understand now, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times it gets stuck in the door when I get out of my patrol vehicle, sir. Instead of the door closing, my tie tricks me.
But the object would have to be extremely thin to fit in the door.
Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. It would need to be an insulator.
Yes, an insulator. But at the crime scene...
That just might have been something that fits the description. But sir, by insulator, you don't mean... I think I've finally got this figured out.
Very well. Will the defense please present the relevant evidence? What was this insulator that was stuck in the locker door?
That would be the glove. You got theories brewing? I found this near the locker, a thin rubber glove. Yes! Queen! What? Chalice broken? Chalice question mark. Hi Queen, how you doing? Good morning.
But we can't be sure that that was in the victim's locker.
It has a tag that says SO9 incident. I like that sometimes Miles just says exclamation points. Chalice! Remember something from year 7 science, Pug? Man, you are just like Emma. The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker, but that isn't the case. The lit lamp attests to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is this not so, Officer Meekins? Olivia Sosa! Do you guys hear the little squawking noise he made? Just question marked too soon.
Order! So are we to believe then that the victim, whom this witness stabbed in the evidence room, was not Detective Goodman?
Do not be misled, Your Honor.
What do you mean, Mr. Edouard?
The defense has merely demonstrated that possibility, and nothing more. The victim in the video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this.
What? Why did Miles want this to be Goodman anyway? Isn't Miles' job here to prove that Lana killed Goodman? And yet he's trying to prove that it happened 30 minutes away? I don't understand what he's getting at here. I thought initially that he was just baiting us into proving that our client could have done. But no? What?
Officer Meekins, please testify about this.
Sir? Me, sir? I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir. Oh! You mean that, sir? Of course, sir.
Is this a joke?
Very well. Begin your testimony.
Mystery Man 2. It's one of the things that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. Went to the evidence room. One must use their ID card. And when an ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card.
An ID card record. I see.
I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. The ID used at 5:14 is that of the victim.
Come on, Miles, that's so flimsy. Anyone could have had that ID. I have that ID right now.
Just before the crime, Yes, without a doubt, this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. Why were there so few people using this room?
This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases.
Special cases?
Extremely violent cases involving police staff.
Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end.
Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference. There were only a few cases up for transferal there, and most were cleared up by noon.
Right, I see. Now, let us move on to the cross-examination.
Okay, Mystery Man 2. One other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman. Must use their ID card. There's a record of it. The detective had used his card. How do you know it was the detective that used his card, though? You know what? I even think that we can just go ahead and present straight away. Because we have a record that Goodman's lost item report. And you can see that he couldn't remember his number because he tried to write it in and couldn't do it.
Wait one moment, Officer Meekins.
I'm not good at waiting, sir. I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene.
That makes sense.
When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card.
Lost item report. It's only half completed.
But it shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report.
Let me guess. You believe this something to be his ID card, right?
I can't say for sure, but there is a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card.
Order. So now, what does this all mean?
It can only mean one thing. It doesn't even require much thought. The man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card. Get him, Phoenix!
Order. Does the prosecution have a response?
I have only one thing to say to the defense. Bravo, Mr. Wright. Bravo. Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Meekins encountered was not Detective Goodman. There are two grounds to support this. So he was just baiting us. Bastard! Bastard! First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yes. What's he up to? That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also fake. Did we expect any less from Edgeworth? He was so insistent about it. He was like, no, we can't move on from this part. Wright hasn't managed to prove anything. We must. Clearly the murder God. And we just wander right into it. Miles and his goddamn traps. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. That is... Well, I guess that's right. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago you seemed content to be pointing your finger around. This isn't going to end well. Good job, Phoenix! You proved Lana killed someone! Well, it seems you've finally realized. Exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove. This is why Miles is my favorite prosecutor, though. He's so fun! He's just so delightful to play against. I love all of the little twists and turns he takes us down.
Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth.
The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means a murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime.
So
the real crime could only take place at one location, the underground parking lot. You're also being so obsessed with proving Edgeworth wrong. Phoenix, you hate him so much it makes you look stupid. And by hate I mean love. 4D chess Edgeworth. It's just 3D chess, but he's playing with so many fucking knights. At the prosecutor's office, the murderer being Miss Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness observed the moment the defendant used the murder weapon. Ah! I knew that testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning. The activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered.
who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered? And where did this person disappear to? However, this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman.
Trustworthy witness? Yeah, the fact that Angel hasn't just been, like, pulled aside for perjury by now? Arr, 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 arr. Just so, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you have to do something, or else Lana... What do I do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this mess? Is the answer ever wait and see what happens? Like, ever? At any point? One moment, Your Honor. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven. Of course not. But I almost walked right into the prosecution's trap. What are you talking about? This cross-examination has proven one thing and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder. One of the cases with Gutter? Yeah, you know what? That makes sense. At least they've stopped playing the theme. Welcome back! Court's so intense. Everything happens so much all the time. However, it cannot be said that it is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot.
Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room. The defense demands further examination into the truth of the matter.
Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes, Your Honor.
If this court were to examine this further, other witnesses will be necessary. The prosecution prepared.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident.
This just might be my chance.
Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand.
Mr. Wright? Do you mean?
Your Honor,
The defense would like to request a specific witness.
Well, whom do you have in mind?
Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth. The truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room.
the prosecution requests to hear this person's name before deciding whether or not to comply.
Very well then, Mr. Wright. This person whom you would have testify. What is his or her name?
Oh my god, I nearly presented again. That would be Mr. Marshall.
Officer Jake Marshall. Why him?
I can't let Edgeworth know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel we should hear what he has to say.
The prosecution agrees to the defense's request. As he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare.
Very well. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is subpoenaed. Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time?
We will, Your Honor.
Court is now in recess.
Trial part 1 complete? No, okay. I was really hoping that was the end of the trial former. February 24, 11:32 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2.
There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright?
Huh? What do you mean?
You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you've figured everything out.
I haven't figured anything out. Lana, you're the one who knows everything.
Emma.
You always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you.
I don't recall ever asking for his protection.
How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me?
Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals.
Oh, Gumshoe.
Guess I am. I'll come back later.
Aww. Puppy dog slinks off with his tail between his legs. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it?
Got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run all around while on duty. Let's top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals.
Sorry, Detective.
You better be, pal. Hey! I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Sky.
That's okay. So, have you brought what I asked?
You mean this, right?
My apologies, Detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making my request.
My name? Never in a million years would I have thought it was you who asked me. I'd bother you to bring me the SO9 incident files. I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy.
The SO9 incident? But Lana, that's... I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. Here, you might do well to read them. Look, Queen, he's not the brightest, okay? I was gonna say he's not the brightest detective at the station, but frankly I think he might be. Here, you might do well to read them.
Can't believe you, the Chief Prosecutor, were a witness in that case.
Miss Sky was a witness? SO9 incident files received from Lana Sky. Files for the Joe Dark killings, solved 2 years ago.
Take it from me. You don't want anything to do with serial murders. Oh, what? Now that I've brought you your stuff, you're just gonna ignore me?
Emma? But why? No, I think we can read them now and get the same information that Phoenix is freaking out about. I know he's a himbo, I will still dunk on him forever. Yeah. Okay, so, incident number SL9, closed case. Perpetrator, Joe Dark. Crime, serial murder. Sentence, death. Victims, Edward Jones, Edith Kirby, Jeb Bates, Jason Knight, Rachel Moss, Neil Marshall. Trial data. Head prosecutor, Miles Edgeworth. Witnesses, Lana Skye, Emma Skye. Investigation Task Force. Executive investigators, Damon Gant, Lana Skye. Head investigator, Bruce Goodman. Investigators, Jake Marshall, Angel Starr. Why is your name in here? What? My name's in there? I don't know. Unless... No, it couldn't be. Lana, this SL9 incident, is that... That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as the Joe Dark killings. The... Joe Dark... No, Lana! That's over with! No! Emma, wait! She ran away.
You know what? I just remembered I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, pal, but I'm out of here.
Jake Marshall, Angel Starr, Damon Gant, Miles Edgeworth. Not to mention Lana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. This can't be just a coincidence. Knowing you, you might be able to figure it out. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck. I better take a good look at this file. Oh boy. Oh, and that is the trial former. Easy. That means we can get through the trial letter tonight as well. Okay. February 24, 12:14 p.m, District Court, courtroom number 9.
The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye.
Emma didn't come back.
Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Witness, please state your name and occupation.
Yes! The theme!
Hugging. Me, partner. Oh, I'm just a man, same as you, wandering the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersections when needed. Yes, we get it.
Oh, I know. You're a patrolman.
As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind call it out. Jake, Jake, Jake. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind?
I've never heard Edgeworth described that way before.
Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day the crime took place. Is this correct? According to the papers, partner?
What do you mean?
A desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up.
Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly.
The music slaps so hard, right?
Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In plain old English.
Day of the crime.
My job was to keep a wary eye on that burn orchard. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day. That ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at a street-side saloon at the time it went down. I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail. Okay, the big thing we have on him is the bloody fingerprints. Let's see what we can do with those.
I can't say I particularly care for your attitude.
I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Wait a minute. What do you mean by two security systems? I mean, the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those. Yes, well, what about the fingerprint-activated locks on the evidence lockers? Fingerprint-activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those? He's not being very helpful. He's not that good with machines. Or with following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses now, don't they, Mr. Prosecutor?
This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours.
Get him, boy. Day of the crime. Job was to keep a wary eye on that burn orchard. Post my rounds 3 times a day, but he didn't bother. 2 security systems, which he is wrong about. Street side saloon at the time it went down? Just an innocent traveling man, so you're out of ammo. I'm not out of ammo. Do I bother pressing, or do I just... I'm just gonna... I'm trusting my gut. Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this? After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime. And yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. Or to be exact, a handprint. That's some real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects, but I make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be in there. I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood.
Witness, what's the meaning of this? Your blood-stained fingerprints were at the crime scene?
The blood was wiped away. However, a luminal test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall?
Seems to me, there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders. I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall. About the blood-stained fingerprints?
Very well. You may begin your testimony about your fingerprints, found at the scene of the crime.
Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the bloodstained handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Now, didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See? I had nothing to do with it.
The witness's explanation appears valid, although there's room for doubt.
Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner.
The defense may now cross-examine the witness.
This guy's hiding something, I can feel it. Now's my chance to prove it.
Only natural for fingerprints to be in that evidence room. It happens to be at the same place as the bloodstained handprint. Tell me more about this. So shaving his beard with a knife in the middle of court? Yeah. Don't worry about it. It's a totally legitimate courtroom. We never do anything fucky here. Super professional all the time. We never let any potential murder weapons in. Nothing weird happens. That's because you... How did you put it? Pay your respects once a month?
Yeah, that's right. That and one more thing.
Hi! Welcome, welcome, welcome! 873-0579. Hi. Is that?
No. It wouldn't be. No, it's not. I'm like, wait a minute. Your username isn't one of our numbers here. It is?
Oh my god! Hi, Mr. Miles Edgeworth.
That's so fun! Oh my god. The light!
Do you have a name that I can call you, or shall I just call you Miles or 8 or... Using Mia? Easy. Lovely to meet you.
Yeah, that's right. That and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine.
What? What do you mean?
I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. All that's in there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams.
I see.
It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker.
Apparently his fingerprint data was never removed from that locker's programming. He must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time without ever knowing it. Marshall's fingerprints updated in the court record. Excellent. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the blood-stained handprint. Well, that's just outright nonsense. Wait, did he say before? Should you know that? He's not on this case. He shouldn't. No, wait. This case was boring. So boring.
You know what? At least we've passed most of the video. Not all of it, but most of it, I think.
How do you know that?
I may be a learner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports. There was a bloodstain at the scene, thought to be left by the murderer.
That's right. It was found in Detective Gumshoe's locker.
However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint.
Oh yeah, I think we tried that too.
So that would mean the murderer wearing gloves happened to place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprint.
That's the only logical conclusion. He's starting to get the picture, partner.
The picture?
The seal of blood. In the desert, it's just food for the buzzards. There's only one reality, and that's this.
The security tape.
So long as my trial isn't in there, you can't say otherwise.
This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. 8.
Just for introduce Emma. I think she deserves it. Yeah, rise from the ashes. It's definitely longer than it should be. I wish they'd cut some out. But I think it introduces some really cool characters and tackles a cool concept well. I like the way it puts so much pressure on Miles as well.
Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now then, continue your testimony, Officer Marshall.
Seeing Emma show up again later on is so exciting, right? It's like, wait a minute! No. Okay, too bad it wasn't you. No, it wasn't you. Wait. Wait, no, wait. That's his locker. Do I press or do I present? I'll press fast. What do you mean by that?
You want to tie me to this crime, isn't that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have.
Being a bit funny joking, but also, yeah, like, they made it longer than the rest of the game, and for what? Mostly joking, a little bit not joking. Hi Godzilla, how you doing? But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots.
Blind spots?
Places you can't see. The camera's panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape. I judge a lot of writing by good use of time. How much time did it take and what did it accomplish? Yeah, no, I think that's a really good metric.
You don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright.
To take a shot every time the video comes up? Please no, that's how you get alcohol poisoning. It was not like a joke, this case was longer than the 4 cases in this game. Yeah. This case did accomplish things, but not enough to justify more than 10 hours.
No, I agree. It definitely should have been way shorter.
I keep thinking about how much we still have left to go, even though we're nearly done with the first 2 days, and theoretically there's only 1 more day after that. I think there's what, like 3, 4 trial portions? It'll be fine, it'll be fine.
You don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright. This case is already so fucking long.
Well, Mr. Wright, if you can show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present, please do so now.
There is evidence in the video. Very well. Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall.
Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake.
Now then, let's have another look at that video.
Everybody take a shot!
Show us this incriminating—
It just moved on. Okay, sorry. Didn't have time for that one. First blood. Thank you for stopping by! Have a lovely day, night, week, everything. There! How's that for evidence? Did I miss? Did I need to have my finger on the— God damn it. God damn it. I need to have the cursor on the— Okay, okay.
Please allow me to apologize for my colleague, Your Honor. He gets carried away sometimes.
Yes, well, this certainly isn't a first.
Will you forgive him too, Officer Marshall? He's not a bad man, just a bit disillusioned. Of course, not one to gun down unarmed boys. Oh great, now Edgeworth is defending me. I guess that means I missed the mark.
Guitar serenade! Head in my goddamn hands.
Very well, let's get back to the cross-examination.
Alright, hang on. We have to go through all of that again? Was I straight up wrong? It should be the piece of cloth. You would think... You would think presenting the locker would be enough when the video was that long, but I guess not. Okay. I feel like whenever I get things wrong, it's always on the, put the cursor in the right place. Oh my god, please not the guitar serenade in orange clavier. Scenes that traumatize Ace Attorney players. I hope you guys are excited for the 3D portion later on in this case. Doing the little blue badger dance. Okay. And then... Please be correct, I don't want to have to go through all of this again. My cursor is on... I never know if I need to have the hand or the point on it. We have the cloth. We're presenting the cloth. It wasn't there before, which means that he opened the locker. He would have opened the locker because he doesn't know about the fingerprinting system. And that's when the bloody handprint was left as well, because he has blood all over his shoulder. Thank God! Okay. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, hoping for a different result. Before I clicked on the locker, because he opened the locker, but no, it has to be the cloth. Alright. Bringing our attention back to the security camera is a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall.
The days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less?
Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video.
Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner.
The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video.
The locker with the white cloth sticking out. That was the witnesses, I believe.
Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. Let's slowly rewind the video. Anybody sick of looking at the blue badger yet?
Well, white cloth, it's gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall?
When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then, it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away.
What up? Hold your horses. I'm sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. So what if my locker was open? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened a locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault he happened to choose mine.
I like how he actually uses 8 words, but like, Phoenix, you don't have to give in to his demands, you're a lawyer. Ah, but that's the difference between a lawyer and a super lawyer. Presentation. It's all about the dramatic. That's the difference between an attorney and an ace attorney.
Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man?
This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker.
Oh yeah? I call your bluff. You say I opened that locker? Now prove it.
Where's my dooflappy? Where is my dooflappy? This one.
Fingerprint sensor?
We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to.
What kind of crazy talk is this?
Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this.
In any case, locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks.
So, Sheriff, what do you have to say? In 8 words or less?
I only got 1 word for you, partner. No!
Good boy, Phoenix.
Order. Witness, explain yourself.
If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard.
I assure you this is no joke, Officer Marshall. I'd let that slide if he didn't do it to his own detriment sometimes. Yeah, that's his charm. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime.
Olé. Please answer the question.
What is he now, a bullfighter? That's alright, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure the rest out from here.
We can?
Have a look at these floor plans. There is no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet, Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall.
If that's so, then where was the witness?
Seems Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right. The only possible conclusion.
Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime?
I'm a little... Is the victim supposed to be... Are we saying that Meekins is the killer? They were standing like this, which means it should be there, but we know that Meekins didn't kill anyone because we watched the tape and saw him not kill anyone. So I'm a little confused as to why they're calling him the killer. But he should be standing here. Officer Marshall was standing right here.
There, but that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was.
Correct. Unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you, dressed up like Detective Goodman.
That's preposterous.
Officer Meekins witnessed a detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know him for sure. May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. When I entered the evidence room, they asked him to show his card, sir. Yes, and how did Detective Goodman respond? Suddenly pulled a knife on me. Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had had his ID card, why didn't he just show it?
Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it.
The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card.
Oh, I get it.
If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall? You've got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it. You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim.
I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition.
I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining.
Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim?
Well? Who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat. Ah, this can't be happening. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do? Miles? It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you've run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. The basics. Miles! Miles! Ew, 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 ew. Oh, sorry, hang on. Slow on the draw this time. There we go. For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. That's a tasty little tidbit as well. Did Von Karma taught him that? He said when he was just starting out, so I won't say spoilers, but there's someone else that it could be when we think back to his early court cases. Phoenix, try thinking outside of the box. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. But rather I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Why do you think his locker was opened in the first place?
What do you mean?
There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance that it might be discovered later, as it has been. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker.
According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then, after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason.
The fact that a white cloth is sticking out the locker seems to indicate that. He opened it in order to put the cloth inside.
So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth?
Perhaps the video is the key to all our unanswered questions. I don't have any evidence, so this video is my only shot.
Very well. Let's take yet another look at the security tape. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness had to open his locker.
This should be because he got bloody, right? He couldn't leave in like his blood-covered coat, and I believe the coat is white. So, he attacks Meekins. Can I present that? Ah! Oops! Oh my god, no, I missed. I tried to press B. I pressed X. That's on me. Well, what do you have to say to that? Alright, partner. You really want to know the reason I had to open my locker? Why? So I could stuff you in there. I'm sure the world would be a better place with you sent off to the boneyard. Unfortunately, unsolved cases can't be stored in the evidence room. Now I'm an unsolved case? That was a fun dialogue. I'm glad we got that. What do you have to say about that, Sonic version 2? Okay, that's why Marshall had to open his locker. The unexpected event itself is the reason. I better have another crack at this.
According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime.
Hydrate! Thank you, Godzilla. Let me drink some water. Thank you!
Then, after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason.
The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside.
So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth?
Perhaps the video is the key to all our unanswered questions.
Queen, thank you for the head pat!
I don't have any evidence, so this video is my only shot.
Very well, let's take yet another look at the security tape. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth.
Hi, Brady.
Okay. We are only going to press the correct buttons this time. So, he goes, he opens the locker, the glove falls out, Meekins comes to apprehend him, they fight. We press B and put our little cursor on the blood.
Hi, how you doing?
Okay. I'm racking my little brain. I don't want to have to watch this video again. This should be... For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room, though I don't know to what end yet. You're a mess? Oh no, what's up? I hope you feel better soon. Yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood.
A bloody white coat.
You couldn't just walk out like that, so you hid the coat in your locker. Not bad, partner.
Phoenix, you're so smart when I press the right buttons.
Now then, Officer Marshall.
A good man? Pug?
Are you ready to tell us the truth?
Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent then as you are today. What?
I'm so sorry. I was scrolling through my old camera roll and I came upon my Spotify history, my like year wrapped from 2020, which is when I started that whip, and then abandoned it. And my top listened song of that year was Everything Stays. I played it 156 times, which like explains a lot, you know? I'm sorry that you're suffering, but I'm glad that someone else is experiencing what I went through.
We all wouldn't have to be here now, would we? Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it. Alright. It seems the time has come.
Marshall's confession.
I had to do it that day, and I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him, and I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15.
Oh, okay, so we successfully proved that Lana definitely could have killed him. Good work today, right?
That the supposed victim was really you.
But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor. It was way too much blood for such a small donation.
Okay. Okay. Alright. Couldn't do it that day. I know he's talking about SL9, but let's get him to say that explicitly. When you say it, you mean
Do you even have to ask, partner?
the SL9 incident.
2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transferal that day. Not if I had anything to do with it. That incident's not over.
But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room?
When a case is closed, only that case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time, no matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner, that case is mine.
But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it?
That day was my last chance. That's why I
Stole the detective's ID and dressed like him, planned to take out the evidence. Wasn't expecting Meekins, knocked him out. Managed to escape. So you did your research beforehand?
Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference, though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left.
However,
You bloodied your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there.
What was Officer Meekins doing during that time?
What else? He was sleeping like a baby.
so what you're saying is on that day,
Wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place.
What are you, blind? The victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner.
sir, you stole the evidence.
God, why did I go judged?
So, you stole the evidence from the locker. Actually, no I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone.
What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence?
It's still missing, Your Honor.
Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence.
I had a feeling we'd wind up here sooner or later.
Everyone involved here is related in some way to that case.
I better take another look at the files.
Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman?
If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So, you did it to fool the security camera.
And the detective's ID card?
I stole it the morning of the incident.
So that really was why Goodman started filling out that lost item report.
I returned his ID card, and I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot.
The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall.
So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean? Partner?
I mean,
the fingerprint. The fingerprint-activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself.
But he could because a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall.
Okay.
You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off?
Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time.
Officer Meekins suddenly is a 1 in a million type of person, mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID.
I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year.
When did Edgeworth get so much influence?
Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way, with me knocking him out and everything.
By the way, what happened to your knife?
Oh, you mean this one?
I don't know what to say.
So you knocked Officer Meekins out and...
Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing?
Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer.
Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer. This is no small offense.
Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. I can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary.
Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution.
Like I said, this isn't your case. This one is mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with.
The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more.
Can't just forget the SL9 incident. You know why?
But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it?
That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room.
Joe Dark was convicted for his crimes. One thing I can say for sure is he deserved his sentence.
I remember the Joe Dark case. It involved serial murders, didn't it?
I don't intend to complain about how it turned out. There's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about.
Zeal is like... conviction, I guess?
Something no one will talk about.
What happened?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out.
Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think his real reason is.
I had a feeling we'd wind up here sooner or later.
Okay, no, we've already had this piece of dialogue. Yeah, enthusiasm for something. Wasn't any matter.
Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident.
Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner.
I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. In a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man?
Neil Marshall. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago. He received the same lousy prosecutor award you got. What? A prosecutor?
He must be talking about the King of Prosecutors Award.
Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did.
That's right.
He was killed, and the case fell into your hands. But what's his relation to you? He was my brother. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant, the then Deputy Chief of Police. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Joe Dark. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. And that was all we needed. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed. At least, according to the public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. And that's it. That's your reason for your insane actions. There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime. That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence.
Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled.
Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. The things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department.
Chance?
It's gotta be more than just that.
Love how you finish each other's sentences.
So if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one. Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye.
But wait! A verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial.
Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today.
But
there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. It seems to me, this boy's got the draw on you, partner. All of the mysteries at the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Skye. And the testimony of one Miss Angel Star is completely incontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or less.
ah!
I rest my case. You smug bitch. I love you.
Alright.
It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt. Well done, Mr. Wright. And thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department.
There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tape really was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty. You really told him, Phoenix. You really showed him.
Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant.
Your Honor, wait! Emma! The defense has an objection. A scientific objection. Right? What do you mean, right?
Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian?
Your Honor? Oh, in a sense. Please, Your Honor, all I'm asking is for a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please.
I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3.
He's come so far. Character growth. I was kind of in a shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Joe Dart killings? Now that she mentions it. The names of both Sky Sisters were in that file. But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing. The other handprint.
You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker?
But no fingerprints were found on it, right?
No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So, I ran over there and looked at it again. So did you find something? No. Huh? Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all. Is that all? Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student. And I'm just an attorney. You're right, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them... Please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you. Me? Oh boy.
Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright.
She's just a high school student. Where's our profile? Emma Sky, age 16, high school junior and self-styled scientific investigator. God bless. I love her. Age 16! She's baby, Your Honor. Yeah.
With regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain?
It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark.
I'm just a college-educated legal professional. Don't rely on me. Phoenix is somehow the most and least reliable character I've ever seen.
Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this?
Thank you for the hydrate, Queen. And stretch? Yeah, okay. It's probably for the best. Everybody else should stretch too. It's bad to stay in one position too long. Thank you. Alright, where am I?
Is there a problem with this?
Mr. Wright! I'm sorry I can't be of more use. But still! If you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be...
Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day.
Yes, Your Honor. If ever I've needed to concentrate, it's now.
If those muscles are knotted.
What could be wrong with that handprint in Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing? This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction. The only thing that seems clear is your grasping, Mr. Wright.
Been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them?
Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing.
Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn on there?
Yes, something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark. I'm glad Phoenix seems to know what he's doing, because I'm lost.
Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright.
With all this evidence here, there's got to be something I can use.
Question is, which item can prove something is missing in the floor plans?
Can we see the floor plan some more? Oh! Oh my Jesus fucking Christ, of course it is. Oh man, one of the characters in the game are like, yes, we figured it out! I'm sat there like, oh crap, well I haven't. The amount of times I've had to like rely on Phoenix. But no, okay, it's this. It's just the thing that's been staring us in the face this whole goddamn time, literally. What about that piece of plywood? The Blue Badger, mascot of the police force. Defender of truth, guardian of proof. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The Blue Badger is not here. So, watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Well?
Well, what?
At least Miles gets it. That's right. So long as the Blue Badger is dancing there, it would be impossible to place a handprint at this spot on the locker. What? That cape animation was really good. The poncho is just like flying. Excellent.
So that means, just exactly what does that mean?
It means it can't be done.
What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found on that locker.
Don't look at me, I didn't put it there. Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically. Emma. On that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on that locker. So that must mean this blood mark was left there before the Blue Badger was brought in.
Just one moment. I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom.
It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice.
But how?
One time was captured on this tape, taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is, the other time. Phoenix? Wow, what an obvious thing. I can't believe I only just now get it. Yeah, like honestly. I actually had with Ryu so much. Ryu was so much smarter than me. It was constantly like, I am just going to go with this and hope that he gives me some more information in his dialogue. Someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim. The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be a fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found on the locker. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred. When did the first incident occur?
To summarize, the defense claims that...
Wait, this was written after Ace Attorney 3? What? Oh, I assumed that came out between Ace Attorney 1 and 2. Phoenix is way too competent in this case. God bless.
Ryu was so smart for how dumb he was. Okay, anyway.
Prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in that evidence room.
That's right. The blood mark on the locker proves this.
Very well, then tell us. When did this first incident occur? As Mr. Edgeworth said, proof must be presented.
Proof that shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that.
Now then, will the defense please present its evidence? What shows when the first crime took place?
That would be the ID record, I believe. We know that... Oh my god, are we about to inadvertently accuse Miles? God no, right? We know that it had to happen before Meekins brought it in, so we can say safely that the murder happened at 4:20 p.m. or 4:40, but... God, let's hope that this doesn't reflect badly on Miles. It was only written right before his turn investigation? I see! Oh my god. Yeah, okay. I feel like it makes Ace Attorney 2 make so much more sense. That's why the tone is so different? That makes sense. Yeah, I don't know, like, see how Ace Attorney 2 follows on from, Case 1-4, but I don't know, I feel like the way that Miles is, you know, sorry, trying not to say too many spoilers, yeah. I just feel like this is integral. I'm so shocked that it wasn't actually released between them. If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer would have had to enter it. And in order to do so, an ID card would have been required.
An ID card? Well, the ID card record.
Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger panel into the evidence room at, let's see here, 4:50 p.m.
If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40 p.m. Miles Edgeworth, just what have you done?
I never would have figured you had the nerve, boy. No! Leave it alone! Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me. Nope, I ain't getting it.
I'm afraid I don't understand either.
It's clear from the luminol test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away. By the real murderer. I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible.
That would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room.
Let's look at the chart again. There's only one other card number remaining. 77777777. Talk about a lucky number.
But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room?
Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. He also didn't have his card on him because it was stolen by Marshall earlier in the morning. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with 77777777.
Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 77777777.
That's 1 7 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card. At least, at present. What? Explain yourself, son. The ID number 77777777 belongs to someone with a rank of captain or higher. Someone who is a so-called executive officer. That should be enough sevens. Welcome back, Novelist. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity. But that's ridiculous. Just how? I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There is one situation in which we can be granted such authority.
If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted.
An official charge? You're all alike, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how the prosecutor's office operates. I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
No, not to you. To her, the defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive. Lana? Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder.
Marital Edgeworth.
Of course we've looked up her ID number. Marshall! Of course we've looked up her ID number, and it's not 77777777. Don't blame me for a fool, partner. That's not what I wanted to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident.
The SO9 incident.
Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor.
There, Nautilus.
In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor?
I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth.
2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time,
Occasionally, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did. Lana? I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law.
Defendant, just what are you saying?
I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did?
Chief Prosecutor, you didn't.
I don't have to, Officer Marshall.
Why won't you answer him?
Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. But Lana! Even if it involved forging evidence.
See? That's what I'm talking about.
No. No!
Order! 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 Order!
Lana's remarks caused such a stir. The chaos of the court would have to wait until the following day.
To be continued. Alright. And I believe that concludes the day 2 trial portion. Or, no, I guess that's day 3 trial, isn't it? Ooh, indeed. Alright, what have we got left? I believe we have the investigation and then 3 more trial portions. How long is the investigation? Oh, it'll be long. That's a lot we have to... Okay, we'll call it here then. Let me take us over this screen here. Reopen Spotify, which seems to have disappeared. Yeah, that, I believe it will be a bit of a trek getting through that final investigation portion. And I'm feeling kind of sleepy, so I don't think I want to start it tonight. Good for me, since I gotta go and didn't want this to end without me knowing what happened. Then I am glad that we could wrap up here. Alright, this is Trilogy Tuesday. We will finish Rise from the Ashes on Trilogy for Saturday. Sleepy indeed. About 10 hours. But yeah, I will see you guys on Saturday for the rest of this case. We will be finishing it there no matter what. Otherwise, what day is it today? Tuesday. We will definitely try and have a stream in between then. I have started a new Stardew save file that I've been thinking about streaming, because it's really fun. I think it would be nice to just have chill vibes. And I will be trying to get some art done, and we can do an art stream as well. No problem. I'm always happy to stream. Now, I believe I saw my beloved friend Ronnie go live. Yes. So we can go say hi to her. I'm actually not entirely sure what she's working on right now. We will find out. Thank you for the head pats. All right. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. It's been so fun. I cannot wait to finish this one off. Trilogy Saturday. Bye.